All right, let's check your answers to page 410, 411, 1 through 19, and number 20, was it 22? First one we've got, and I'll just use letters here. We got R for Ray. Keeps going in one direction, stops in the other one. Number 2, and I guess I can't, I'll just use S for segment. Number 2 is a line. It just keeps going on in both directions. Number 3 is just like number 1. It's another ray. Goes on in this direction but stops here. Number 4 is your segment. Stops at both ends. And number 5 is going to be another line. It continues on in both directions. 6 through 11, we're just basically looking at symbols here. So I'm just going to go through and label what the symbols are first. Number 6, that would be a symbol for a segment. That would be a symbol for a line. That would be the symbol for a ray. Segment, line, ray. Stops at both ends. Line would be keeps going at both ends. Ray just keeps going at one end. So now they just want examples of what this could look like. Segment AB, all you'd have to do is draw a segment with A and B. Line AB, we would just have to draw something that continues on forever and label it AB. Ray AB, something that stops at one end but then keeps going, and I'd put AB. And the other ones would be exactly the same. We would just replace AB with the letters JK, so it wouldn't be any different. So this one would be like this one, except we would have segment JK. This one would be like this one, except for we would have line JK. And this bottom one would be like this one, except for we would have ray A or JK. So make sure that you have these symbols down here. Just the line over top means segment because it stops at both ends. The arrows at the top mean goes on both directions, so that would be a line. And then having only one arrow means it stops over here, which would be what a ray is. All right, we'll start with 12, 13, 14, and 15 with describing what's happening here. Here, we definitely have two lines because we've got two things that just keep going, here and here. And those two lines are perpendicular. They cross at a right angle indicated by this square. We got a square corner, so they're going to be perpendicular. Number 13. Looks like we have two rays. These two rays are never going to touch, so they are going to be parallel. And I'll start using the symbols so you can see here. Over here, instead of this, perpendicular, I'll put this, meaning perpendicular. Okay. 14. This is the line, so we've got a line. This is a segment. We've got a segment. They do indeed cross, but not like up here. Up here we've got that square corners. Here we don't. So we would just say intersect for this one. They're intersecting, they're crossing paths. 15. We've got, like number 12, we've got two lines, but these lines are never going to touch, so they are going to be parallel. So we'll use the symbol for parallel. So we've got two lines perpendicular, two rays parallel, a line and a segment that intersect, and then number 15, we've got two lines that are parallel. 16, 17, 18, and 19 may have been a little trickier than the other ones. So we'll start with 16. 16, we definitely have a ray, and we definitely have a line. Now, they look like that's making a 90-degree angle, but the only problem is they don't actually ever touch or cross. Okay? To be parallel, they really need to be side by side. So it really doesn't fit any of the descriptions. So I would say for this one, nothing. They're just kind of there. They're not crossing. They're not perpendicular. They're not parallel. I would just say nothing for that one. Now for 17. 17, they're not touching at all. But if you look at it, we've got two lines, meaning that the lines are just going to keep going and going and going. So really, this just keeps extending as far this way as we can go. It just keeps going. So if it just keeps going, we've got two lines that cross here. Okay. If you notice though, they don't make any kind of a square angle. So for this one, we would just put intersect. Two lines that intersect. Number 18. We've got a line and we've got a ray, and this one should be pretty easy to tell. They are crossing, but we don't have any angles that make squares. No 90-degree angles, no right angles. So this is just also going to be intersect. And then number 19. Number 19, we've got a segment and we've got a line. This line is just going to keep going and going and going. Now for this one, we actually are making a square corner. If you really look at it, and it's easier to tell probably if I rotate it like maybe like this, we've got squares in all these corners here. Okay, they make perfect 90-degree angles. So this is definitely going to be not just intersect, but this is going to be perpendicular, and that is the symbol for perpendicular. So we've got a ray and a line with nothing much happening here. We've got two lines that actually intersect. They're not perpendicular, but they intersect. We've got a line and a ray that intersect. And then we've got a line segment that line's just going to keep on going, and it's going to form 90-degree angles, which is going to be perpendicular. All right, for this last one, we're trying to find the set of lines that are parallel in this picture. Now, to be honest with you, I'm looking at this, and they don't have the arrows at the ends of any of these, so I'm going to go ahead and call these segments, because I don't think the lines, I don't think they're lines, because they don't keep going and going. If they're lines, they should have arrows at the end of them, and they don't, so we're going to call them segments. So I'm going to call this segment A, segment B, segment C, segment D, and segment E. We need to find the ones that are parallel. Okay, so let's start with A and D. Okay, here's segment A, here's segment D. Those cross at a 90-degree angle, cross at a square angle, so those are definitely not parallel. Those are perpendicular. So in between here, I'm going to put my little perpendicular symbol. Segment A is perpendicular to segment D. Let's go to C and E. Okay, here's E, here's C. They cross, so they're definitely not parallel, but it's also not perpendicular because they don't make a square angle. C and E don't make a square angle, so in the middle, I'm just going to put intersect. C intersects E, but it's not perpendicular. A and C. A and C is going to be pretty much the same way. A is here, C is here. They're definitely crossing, but not perpendicularly, not like that. They don't make that square angle here. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put intersect. So that one leaves us one choice. Hopefully that's the one that's parallel, E and D. Here's E, here's D. D is right here. E is right here. They are parallel. They're not going to touch. So I will put the symbol down for parallel right there. So our answer is going to be the very last one, which is going to be letter D if you're choosing.